Good day and welcome back to my channel. So this is the first installment in the OH-13 or UH-13 or Bell 47 Sioux. This is not a very long video. Didn't really get very far. It is Thanksgiving here in the United States. So it's November 13th, 2023. And I did manage to get some work done. And I pretty much focused totally on the engine. Built the engine, did the PE upgrade pieces to that. So, but that's pretty much as far as I got. So let's go ahead and take a look at that piece and see what we get. All right, and as this build gets started, the first part is the engine. Instead of the cockpit, which is the second part, we do the engine part. Overall, let's say you're going to go with a kit. It actually is pretty nice. It goes together pretty well. If you do get the upgrade set, there are a bunch of little fiddly details to do because that's, what PE does. You've got these valve covers or header covers or whatever they're called. I'm not an engine guy, so it's hard to say. You've also got these little detail parts as well, there and there. Interesting thing, this shows you that those have a fold. This belt system, you're supposed to fold, but the thing is, this doesn't tell you how. It's intuitive, but still, right? When you go to do the thing, right, there's one of these and one of these. They're stuck out. You got to fold that over, and then it's reversed on the other side. So you end up having two, right? So you end up getting a double-sided thing. And so you got to do all that to make that piece, which I haven't put on the engine yet. Mostly because I didn't want to be too fiddly. It's going to go right there. And I figured I would break it. And I was right, because the way I've been manhandling this thing, I've been struggling with it. But all right. There are a couple things on the engine I'd like to call out. Even if you don't do the detail upset, this goes on. This is actually at an angle, so this isn't quite right. This actually goes in at an angle on that. You can see there. There. And it goes in sort of at an angle. It's just the way that's done. Then these parts go on. There are mold lines, seam lines. So you've got a lot of cleanup to do. You do have to do it. I mentioned this when I unboxed this. But we do have a whole bunch of piping, which means you're cleaning those pipes. So when we get to the frames, that'll be there that's waiting for us to get to. But is what it is. Now, this kind of threw me off. This goes into the cylinders, and those instructions don't quite show how. But that's where it goes. They drop in there, and then that piece of it locks in, just basically sticks onto, I guess that's an oil pan or whatever. So that has to glue in there. This piece goes in, but it's really loose. And fortunately, they do draw this so you can see the angle that they're supposed to go. And that's you can see that thing back here in the other one, so it's at the same angle. And then dropping this guy in here, I think I got it at the right spot. It kind of shows that it should go up here, but there isn't room for it to go up there. It's up at the top here. It kind of implies it's going on top here, but it doesn't seem to. It doesn't look like it is. So, and I looked to see if I had gotten this upside down, and I may have, but I can't tell for sure. So it's going there. And if my engine is wrong because of that, my engine is wrong because of that. So I'm going to roll with it. So that is the engine. All right, so I've given the engine a bit of a wash, and hopefully actually focus on it. There we go. And colored in the sort of shaded, there we go, the exhaust pipes. I'm not going to really do much more to those until later. I'm going to see what it looks like actually in the helicopter itself. I do want to make it look a little used and dirty, but not destroyed. So I'll give it a little more heat treatment later once it goes in. I'm also looking to see about adding a little more interest to the details like wiring and so forth. But again, I need to see what it looks like actually in the chassis. And I've got a few pictures of what it looks like. The engine does get a little bit busy, but it's also pretty simple. So I'm not going to go too much more into this. It's time to get on to the next step. And so our next step is the cockpit, the next step is the cockpit. And with the cockpit is the photo etch. So the Edward photo etch has this replacing stuff. So I'm going to get cracked into doing this right now. This looks to be somewhat interesting. So we'll get to it. Okay, so that's about as far as I got this week. There's just so much going on. I really didn't get a whole lot of bench time, but I'm really liking this. You know, it's kind of fun, and that's sort of what this whole thing's about. Did do some research on different markings and styles, or not markings, but nationalities. There we go for the Bell 47, and I think I am going to go with the Aussie markings. But I'm going to see what we can do as far as making this thing look kind of nice at 48 scale. So for now, thank you very much for watching. I hope this was useful or entertaining. Anybody has any suggestions, hints, queries, whatever, please feel free to put them down below. Just keep them respectful. I'll be happy to conversate. All right. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Happy modeling.